In seemingly direct response to Trump lying, Marjorie Greene again leaped off of the top, what's it called in a UFC ring? The top wire? Band? The top rope. Yeah. Jumped off the top rope and boom. Trump. So let's first check in on Trump spitting.
Boston better clean up. That was a rough one. That was nasty.
That was completely unrelated to what we're talking about. But then you had this to say.
And you had the greatest inflation. The last administration had the greatest inflation in the history of our country. And now, as you know, groceries are down. It's all down.
But on the shutdown,
groceries are down, he says.
Bullshit.
So we don't even have to respond ourselves. Let's let, as weird as this continues to sound, it's a weird wording. Let's let Marjorie Taylor Greene respond.
My big warning is we have to take this very seriously, because if Republicans are responsible for doing nothing about this and regular innocent Americans' health insurance premiums double, they're not going to be able to pay their rent. They're already getting crushed with the cost of living expenses that the Biden administration created, but have not come back down. Food prices have gone up this year. Even the Department of Agriculture put out a report on that in August. And there's many other problems, even potentially that we could see a slowdown in the economy next year. And I pray to God, not a recession. So this is extremely serious, Dr. Gina. Everyone should be talking about it. And here's where I'm upset. Republicans are doing nothing. The House is not in session, which I think is inexcusable. Mike Johnson should be calling us back because we should be working.
So she specifically responds to the topic that Trump brought up, saying groceries are down. He keeps repeating that, and said even Trump's administration, their data proves the opposite, in large part because of his tariffs. And then lays out the other problems and says Republicans aren't doing anything, while the debate is about Democrats not voting to fund the government because of their demands on health care. And she's saying, Republicans don't have anything positive to contribute to the conversation about health care and the as Democrats are describing it, cliff that we're about to fall off in sort of a health care crisis. And then I saw that, she called out Mike Johnson specifically. Mike Johnson, C-SPAN announced Mike Johnson was going to do a debate on C-SPAN with Hakeem Jeffries, which I'd love to see them debate on C-SPAN. Why are we doing it on C-SPAN? You could do it you could host it on even Fox News or something with C-SPAN. Okay. But then Mike Johnson goes, I'll debate him if he'll open the shutdown. If he'll open the government. And it's like, well, no, the debate's supposed to be about the shutdown.
Your reaction to that, as I also note that just came across our desk, Mr. Speaker, that you have agreed to a debate with Jeffries on C-SPAN at an unknown date and time. Is that true?
I'll debate Hakeem Jeffries anywhere, anytime, as soon as we get the government open. He's engaging in political theater and stating absurd things. What he just said is absurd. It is the Democrats who voted to shut the government down. Look at the record. 9 times now, the Republicans in Congress, House and Senate, have voted to open the government, and 9 times, Democrats in Congress have voted to close it. All but 1. Hakeem Jeffries led the effort.
Again, I have no problem honestly saying, exactly. If you word it that way, y'all are voting for a continued resolution that would keep the government funded. Democrats aren't. True. But then you should answer why, and he has tried, but why would you not sign on to their demands as they're trying to leverage the limited power they have in this moment? I mean, then during Mike Johnson's press conference, just listen to what he says here and try not to vomit.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. OMB put out memos saying that they're going to batten down the hatches and ride out the shutdown. But as you pointed out, they're going to pay the troops, as well as they said pay law enforcement. Should law enforcement include Capitol Police who protect you, your family, Mr. Scalise, the whip, as well as the Capitol building in general?
Yeah, we've always stood with Capitol Police and law enforcement, and we've shown that in word and deed. And
We've always stood with Capitol Police. Oh, you don't have to play that clip, thank you. We know what January 6th looks like. Now you would go, well, Mike Johnson didn't do January 6th. Maybe. Where was he? I've never seen January 6th and Mike Johnson in the room at the same time. So, but no. But they all were okay with Trump pardoning the people who did. So that's just, you can never say you support Capitol Police after you pardon the people that attacked them. And then Corey Mills, who is a Republican congressman, let me give you some background because then Mike Johnson is going to struggle to answer this one. But you have this news, a Republican congressman, a Florida judge slapped Representative Corey Mills with a restraining order Tuesday. This is Corey Mills, requiring him to stay away from his ex-girlfriend. And you have so many allegations against Corey Mills. An accusation in February from 27-year-old Sarah Raviani that he had assaulted her at that D.C. apartment. And then Lindsay Langston, the current reigning Miss United States and a Florida GOP state committee woman, filed a restraining order petition against Mills for harassing her and stalking her. The police report regarding Raviani's alleged assault said officers observed bruises on her arm, which appeared fresh, and described her as physically shaking and scared. A warrant was issued for Mills' arrest, but then Raviani recanted her accusations and he was not arrested. But then that's about Raviani. Then Langston, if I read this story correctly, the Miss United States, she was a girlfriend of Mills, found out that he was also with somebody at the Raviani. So then she broke up with him, but then he started harassing her, aggressively pursuing her and harassing her. And then she got a judge to give her a restraining order. That's how bad it got. So Mike Johnson was asked about one of his members of his caucus who has all this out against him and this restraining order. And his response is, let's focus on the important stuff.
Speaker Johnson. A judge in Florida issued a restraining order against Corey Mills for threatening and harassing behavior from an ex-girlfriend. And according to these court documents, he also instructed a congressional staffer to reach out to her after that initial temporary restraining order was filed. Do you think this is an ethical violation, and do you think any disciplinary action is warranted?
I have not heard or looked into any of the details of that. I've been a little busy. We have a House Ethics Committee. If it warrants that, I'm sure they'll look into that. Yeah.
All right, that's the first part. Sorry, the second part is when he says the line about important things.
Speaker. It's been reported for a while. Corey Mills was accused of beating a girlfriend in his D.C. apartment. He was accused of stolen valor by the people that he claimed to have saved on the battlefield that have been on the record said that he did not save them. I mean, this has been happening since the beginning of the year. Are you concerned about these allegations against Corey Mills?
Look, you have to ask Representative Mills about that. I mean, he's been a faithful colleague here. I know his work on the Hill. I mean, I don't know all the details of all the individual allegations and what he's doing in his outside life. You have to ask him about that. Let's talk about things that are really serious. Back row. Go ahead, Scott.
Let's talk about the things that are really serious, not like our Republican colleagues' abuse accusations and restraining orders. But also the way he went, I can't, listen, I'm busy. I can't keep up with all the allegations against him. I can't keep up with every 2 seconds another allegation against him. That's kind of relevant. And they all now take that same, Trump does it a lot, but then other people about things Trump says, they go, I haven't seen it. You know, we talked about this. What do you say about Trump calling the military to go after the enemy during his speech in front of generals? And the response from all of them is, I haven't heard of that. What do you say about him posting about medbed conspiracy? I haven't heard of that. Interesting. And then 2 weeks later, have you heard of it yet? No, I still haven't. And he's doing the same thing. Really? You don't keep up with that type of stuff? You're the Speaker of the House. This is a House member, a Republican House member. No, I haven't heard of it. There's just so many allegations against him. I can't keep up. And so then Hakeem Jeffries said, that's not enough. Have I asked people to subscribe in this segment? Please do subscribe if you appreciate the show. Below the video, there's a button. You click it. That's it.
given the recent court issued restraining order against Representative Corey Mills, I just want to get your message, get any message from House Democratic leadership about what.
Hakeem always has a little whisper of a grin. It's always just a little bit of a grin.
This is saying that your Republican colleagues have kind of remained silent or kind of dismissed the allegations that have come out against one of their members. Just what are your general thoughts about the situation?
I want to yield to Catherine Clark on this issue, but this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Domestic violence is a serious issue in this country for women all throughout America. And the notion that House Republican leaders would dismiss the seriousness of what is clearly emerging as an untenable and frightening situation relative to Representative Mills is irresponsible.
There we go. True. And then back to the Republican press conference. They keep repeating this, as I showed you yesterday. They're trying to brand, I guess they don't like the No Kings branding because people are saying we're protesting against authoritarianism, and a huge rally on October 18th is scheduled across the country. And so then they're trying to like Jedi mind trick everyone and be like, no, it's actually a Hate America rally, so you couldn't possibly go to that, because they don't want the imagery of millions of people protesting Trump's actions. And so they're trying to convince you, if you go, you must hate America. You want to go to a Hate America rally, would you?
Radical demands. Clearly, the Democrat Party of today is not your grandfather's Democrat Party. They care about one thing and one thing only: appeasing the radical, pro-terrorist wing of their party.
So now it's gone from hate America to, they're arguing that the reason the Democrats won't support funding the government without the concessions from Republicans that they're demanding is because they're trying to wait out for the October 18th rally so that the extremists protesting, which if you saw the imagery from the previous No Kings rally, is an absurd statement. But the extremists, they're afraid of them, so they need the rally to happen before they can open the government. Otherwise, they'll be accused by those people of not fighting enough. But you can't throw that around. Pro-terrorist, really? Because Luke Beasley, viewer, lib, grandma is out protesting? Pro-terrorist? Give me a joke, Emmer. Then yesterday, Lisa McClain kept shouting during this press conference, so she did it again.
Right? They are on the record wanting health care for illegals. Own it, Democrats. Say it loud. Say it proud. You want to put illegals over Americans. Just own it.
That's so interesting. Deserving of an Oscar, but in its attachment to the facts is not very legitimate, and I don't need to go through it again. Remember, the document they post of the provision they claim proves the lie they keep repeating. If you go read it, you realize, oh, this debunks what they claim. And over again, we've gone through that. It's not true that say what you will about past times the Democrats have been asked, like, hey, you want healthcare for everyone? Does that include? What we're talking about here are specific demands that have nothing to do with undocumented immigrants. And the one little kernel we dove into a bunch about ERs. What is this next one? And okay, so yeah, the Republican members of Congress there. Now you have people like Steve Bannon just openly bragging that Congress is Trump's, pardon the term, bitch, and Republicans are just kind of like the Russian equivalent of Congress, which is just kind of ceremonial. Inside the White House, top advisors joke that they're ruling Congress with an iron fist. Steve Bannon, the influential Trump ally, likened Congress to the Duma, the Russian assembly that's largely ceremonial. They're bragging about how Republicans have turned Congress into just an extension of the Trump administration when it's supposed to be an independent branch of government. And here's Bessent saying, I'd love to see Bessent bring the Lisa McClain energy. I'd love to see Bessent just start shouting, but he does the hate American talking point.
We're on day 15, and it doesn't look like there's any sign of a deal. Well, there's a thought out there that they're at least waiting to this crazy No Kings rally this weekend, which is going to be the farthest left, the hardest core, the most unhinged in the Democratic Party, which is, a big title. And, no kings equal no paychecks. We are paying our military today. The Pentagon went into surplus funds and will be able to make the paychecks. And,
make the paychecks. You remember when I said there's just certain things that whenever you're being accused of authoritarianism, you don't want to be on the record saying. One of them is when Trump went, "We took away the First Amendment," end quote, in relation to flag burning. But on the record, you can quote that. "We took away the First Amendment." And the other one is no kings means no paychecks. Which is what he said. Do you wanna revise that? That sounds off. That sounds like you're proving our point. Then a federal judge did block Trump from the layoffs that he's doing unilaterally, citing the shutdown, but the shutdown has nothing to do with it. He's just pushing out people. And obviously Trump on the National Guard question has had some major legal challenges and blocking, but this is less related to that. I just saw a headline that kind of got me tickled. 7 members of the Texas National Guard were sent home from Illinois after Meal Team 6 mockery in viral photos. So they're just a little, not the skinniest, not skimpiest, skinniest, but that's fine. It's fine. It's great. It's just funny that what ended up happening was that photo went viral and people said Meal Team 6 Operation Dessert Storm the green buffets as they were marching in to get wherever, Illinois, under control or something. And the reason why it's funny is because similar to how Trump being larger is contrasted against Hegseth going, "No fat soldiers," right? As Hegseth's saying that, Trump's over there like,
McDonald's cheeseburger.
We just learned too that what was his order? Like 2 Big Macs, 2 Filet-O-Fishes, large fries, large chocolate shake, which more power to you. I mean, obviously you want to be healthy, but like I'd love to tear up 2 Big Macs, 2 Filet-O-Fishes, a large fries, and a whole chocolate shake. That would be my dream. That is my heaven. But it's weird that our commander-in-chief isn't abiding by the quote-unquote fat scale that Hegseth is laying out for even generals who will never have to see combat again but are just in a leadership position. He's saying they can't be walking around the Pentagon heavy set. But then Trump is Trump, and then you're sending out soldiers that happen... they probably have every fitness standard. I'm just saying that it happened to have a little bit of an imagery problem for your whole thing, and Meal Team 6 is hilarious. Operation Dessert Storm, come on. The green berets with the green buffets. It's mean.
Navy.
And I don't like it at all. I don't like it. But we don't know if the reason some of them were sent home was because Pete Hegseth was like, "You're too fat," which is a big obsession of his. It's his fault, not my fault. It's his fault that this mockery came up. Ugh.